CNN thought they had something, so they hyped it up, they teased it out, and when the moment came, they delivered. A birthday letter? That's it? Donald Trump, president of the United States, supposedly drew a little sketch in a body birthday album for Epstein's 50th birthday, and this, according to the media, is supposed to end his presidency? Give me a break. This is Andy with TrendingPolitics.com. Hit like, subscribe, let's get into it.
Not sure I saw this quite what this was coming, but first of all, just on the legal front, Ellie, the threat to sue over the existence of this letter, whether he himself wrote it or not, how credible?
Well, I'm sure he will sue. I mean, he has shown that he is ready, willing, and able to sue media organizations at the drop of a hat. If he does sue, it's going to be really tough because the legal burden here is very high because Donald Trump is, of course, a public figure, so it's harder to win a defamation suit. He really has to show two things. First of all, that the Wall Street Journal defamed him, that the statements here were damaging to him. That seems clear. The harder part, though, is going to be to show that they acted with what we call actual malice, meaning that they knew that what they reported was false or that they were reckless as to its falsity. That's the really hard part to show. Wall Street Journal, I mean, they tend to know what they're doing. They tend to have their stuff buttoned up. So wouldn't surprise me if he sues and would surprise me if he wins, not knowing the facts, but just knowing how high the legal bar is.
So Trump is saying, I didn't do this. But I think, to me, it's a separate question, Scott, whether this thing exists. And it seems that the Journal has evidence that it does, in fact, exist, and that it's perhaps among the many, many, many documents that are in the possession of investigators here.
Yeah, I mean, my reaction to reading this was 2003, before anything had happened, we know Donald Trump knew the guy. We also know he disowned him and kicked him out of his club. I was waiting all day long for this rumoring of a bombshell. This looks like kind of a dud to me. And look, the president says it's not. I don't know. But either way, this gives me like Kavanaugh yearbook vibes. My impression is Republicans are going to strongly rally around the president on this thing. I mean, he may have been facing some turbulence over the Epstein situation, but this is the sort of stuff that brings people to circle the wagons around him.
Just to be clear, Trump doesn't agree with you because he's clearly very pissed off about this, perhaps very freaked out about it,
I think
because it's embarrassing.
I think this goes deep into the MAGA psyche and creates a cognitive dissonance. That is why we're seeing them revolt against him in this moment. He was supposed to be their guy who would go in there and do what the people would want and fight against the globalists who are pedophiles. Here's a perfect example of a globalist who is a pedophile. Trump told us, I'm going to out that guy in his client list. What happened? Now he gets in, he acts like everybody else who's protecting the globalist pedophiles. So how could you continue to think as MAGA he's going to protect us when he clearly didn't in this situation?
And Trump has also, talked about Epstein. Scott, you're making the point that, they were just friends. This was before he knew anything about Epstein's, alleged bad acts. But here's what he said in 2002 in a New York magazine. So this would have been a year before this birthday message. I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy, he said over speakerphone. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. No doubt about it. Jeffrey enjoys his social life. This is all in the public record as well.
Look, I think two things here. One, I think if this was such a big deal and why it wasn't used against him long before when he was running for president, I believe the president on this one. I think he probably is not a guy that draws pictures. I know a lot of people that have gotten a lot of notes from him and they've never gotten a picture. They get a note from him and his signature that takes forever to sign. Like, I look at this and I sit there and I'm like, this is it? Like, this is the whole thing. Now we're talking about,
I don't know if he draws pictures of women, but we do
we're talking about pictures here.
Okay, I know.
We're talking about
We're talking about the depth of
22-year-old stuff.
We do have this picture that
you
he
got
drew.
Him now.
Man, there it is. That's how good he is at it.
You got him now.
No, it's done now. It's done.
$30,000.
MAGA's turning on Donald Trump.
This is going to kill him.
Look at this picture,
For this
folks. Look at the picture. He's done.
He'll never win.
He's
Abby.
done.
Abby.
His presidency's over. He should resign.
Abby, he'll never win the 28 election. He'll never win the 28 primary.
It's over.
I'm just saying. Trump says in this statement,
it's so rare you got 30 grand for a picture.
He says, I never wrote a picture in my life. I don't draw pictures of women. I don't know if he draws pictures of women, but he has drawn a picture in his life with a Sharpie, which is similar to what we are hearing about this image.
Look, I think, Abby, here is the bottom line. Whether or not he drew this picture, whether or not this was actually a letter that he, actually wrote or typed out or whatever it was with the weird picture, that he drew behind her and didn't draw behind it. The bottom line is that, to me, is somewhat irrelevant. This is someone who said infamously on camera that came out about 2 months before the 2016 election, I can grab women by the you-know-what, and he still won the election. So I think that kind of persona perhaps is baked in. I think the bigger issue here is that this has caused the MAGA base to kind of lose its mind. And the question is the MAGA base going to come back together, or is this a base that is fractured, that is significantly fractured?
Have you lost your mind, Scott?
Because people have been, your colleagues, the Charlie Kirks of this world, people you know very well, have been all over the place saying that they're very disappointed in Donald Trump.
Well, I should say that Charlie Kirk and Laura Loomer tonight have both said to other outlets that they don't necessarily believe that Trump wrote this or what have you. So they're starting to circle the wagons on this, which is what Scott suggested earlier.
The facts of Donald Trump's base are this, and we reported on this morning here on CNN. Since the Epstein business started, his job approval among Republicans has gone up. He's over 90% with Republicans. It's not hurting him with his base. I know you're a Democratic strategist, maybe not an expert on the MAGA base.
In his base but look what's very frustrated.
But look what's happening. He's gone up. Why? Because while we're all sitting here dealing with this nonsense, out in real America, he's signing legislation on fentanyl. He's talking about the AI future in Pennsylvania. He's securing the border. Big, beautiful bill. So his numbers are going up with Republicans. This is a fantasy that Democrats have been engaging in since January that Republicans would abandon.
No, Scott, do not.
Trump, it's not happening.
Try to put this on Democrats. This
Every
is something
night I
that the
sit here and
MAGA
listen
base.
to a Democrat tell me Republicans don't support Trump, and they do.
This has been whether or not you want to call it a conspiracy, whether or not you want to call it something that the MAGA base has cared about. This has been something that has been deeply rooted in the MAGA base for a long time.
I absolutely love Scott Jennings, and he's got a very difficult job to do. He does. But listen, let's get into it. This is what the media has become. It's a circus. There's no main act here. They built this thing up like it was the next Watergate, and all they came back was some birthday doodle from 2003. You could totally feel the disappointment in their voices, and Scott Jennings said it best. This was hyped as a bombshell, and it landed like a dud. They tried everything, like they always do, to make it stick. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if this was the next reason that they were going to try to impeach him. But they dragged out a quote from Trump in 2002, and twisted it into something sinister and threw it on the screen like it proved some kind of globalist conspiracy. And when that didn't work, they brought out the panel to speculate, smear, and melt down Donald Trump on live television. One of them even said Trump had betrayed the MAGA base, and as if his approval rating with the Republicans wasn't 90% right now. I approve of what he's doing, and I'm sure that you do too. If you do, or whatever you feel, comment below. I want to see what you think about this. This is Andy with TrendingPolitics.com. Hit like, subscribe, and I will see you next time.